So here's a ticket. It's called Backup is Not Working. It's from Marian Cayola. Thanks again for submitting these tickets. When it comes to these type of tickets where backups are not working and something like that, this may be something that might go to tier tier 2 help desk, or maybe even local desktop support, or just desktop support team. Because once you start dealing with backups, it usually entails having a higher level of elevation when it comes to access. So, like having access to certain things that you would not normally have access to as tier 1, in this case if it's a shared drive. So here's an example of event log, which is great. Thank you very much for providing this. And here it points to the location on the network of where the drive is, where the backup is located for this specific drive. So every time you access network, you have two backslashes followed by IP or a host name, and then you would specify the folder that it's at. In this case, it's called backup, and then you've got a different volume image for that, and that's what this is here, and it specifies it like that. And however, the event log here, and the main thing that we should concentrate on here, is bad decryption password. So I know this says here that it's a password, and technically it is, but when you're dealing with backups and like something like this, you're talking about file transfer protocol. In this case, secure file transfer protocol, also known as SFTP. In this case, you have to set up a key, either a public key or a private key, on both ends, from a client to the host where everything is hosted. In this case, this location of the network. So what you actually need to look at is whether the keys are set up correctly and if they're matching. So in order to open something here, right, at this location where this backup is located, since it's using secure file transfer protocol, it means it's secure, it's locked up, and you're not able to access it because your decryption key, in this case, a key that you need to have that's matching the one that's on the drive itself, is wrong. So this is something you need to look into. So let's just kind of give more context to this. If you're, for example, using, I don't know, any type of file transfer protocol like FileZilla, PuTTY, you can generate these keys. So let's talk about PuTTY key. Yeah, key generator. You can use PuTTY to generate keys. It's a pair of public and private keys that are generated, and these are the this is exactly what I'm talking about. So let's just look at this briefly here, since this is mostly for help desk, tier 1 and tier 2, but it's I mean this video is for tier 1 and tier 2, but it's okay to learn a little bit about this, although this is something more advanced than not necessarily you'd be doing, but it's good to know. So these keys that I talked about, this tool generates these keys. So it generates a pair of keys, and one goes on to here, right, where the location of the shared drive is, and the one you put on your machine if you want to access it, or a website. So if you want to transfer files to your website from your home computer, you have to set up two keys, which basically it should be called more like a lock and a key type of thing, so that way you create that secure connection. And I think I'm going to leave it at that. I think that's as far as I should go when it comes to explaining this in this type of environment, meaning this type of tutorial. All right, I'm going to just leave a note with this, which is a reply to customer, which I'm going to send to customer. I'm going to say, please make sure that keys used for authentication are matching. And I'm going to say, meaning that key at the backup is matching the one on the client computer. All right, I'm going to leave it at that because again, this is not a regular type of help desk ticket that you would normally work on, but this is what I would check. Check to make sure that keys are matching. Public and private key are matching. Public is the one that a client would get, and private one would be on the host itself here. And when they're matching, there shouldn't be no problem in accessing this backup at all. Which hopefully in your case somebody actually recorded this before they set up the server. So okay, I'm gonna save it and I'm going to close it because this is, as tier 1 or tier 2, this is not something you'd be working on, but I'm going to close it. But what you would normally do is forward this to desktop support. You can have desktop support at local level, and then you can have desktop support as in a team that's called desktop support, but they are for the entire company. They deal with anything that's system administration to images to software that's being installed, everything else for the entire company. Okay,